we have the combined trade potential. Africa today contributes only 3% of the world's trade. Being small means there is great room for improvement. And therefore, between Saudi Arabia and Africa, we can unlock huge potential of trade, enormous opportunity for investment, and with the capital resources in Saudi Arabia and natural resources in our continent, we can not only power the engines of green manufacturing, green industrialization, and use the opportunity that exists not only to create jobs for the millions of young people in our continent, but to create green products, whether it is food and food products from our millions of acres in our region, but also green industrial minerals, green steel from our renewable energy, and green minerals for which our continent is endowed. We have a young and growing population both in Saudi Arabia and Africa. 65% of Africa's population is below 30, and close to 40% of the population of Saudi Arabia is below 30. On average, between our two regions, Saudi Arabia and Africa, our average age is 25. And with a population of close to 1.5 billion people, we not only have the workforce for the present, but we also have the workforce for the future combined. And much more importantly, we have the market for the future. By 2050, 40% of the global workforce will come from our region. And by the turn of the century, 30% of the world population will be living in our corner. Therefore, we have all the ingredients to take this into the future. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, heads of other institutions, ladies and gentlemen, let me first take this opportunity to thank Saudi Arabia, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, for convening this meeting so that the two neighbors, Africa and Saudi Arabia, can meet. It is said in our part of the continent that you can choose friends, but you cannot choose neighbors. The meeting we have is a meeting of neighbors. I am told yesterday somebody said that with our binoculars, you can be able to see Africa from here, confirming that we are neighbors. And there is a history of trade and relationship between our two sides. Between Saudi and Africa, we have the energy of the present and the energy of the future. The energy of the present, Saudi Arabia has tremendous resources of fossil fuels, maybe almost 20%. For the energy, renewable energy of the future, Africa has 40% of wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, renewable energy. Combining the energy resources of Saudi Arabia and Africa gives us the energy that we can use today to power empower our development and gives us also the potential for the energy for tomorrow and the future in unlocking the huge potential of energy in Africa. Saudi Arabia has the opportunity to invest in renewable energy resources in the Congo Basin, in the hydro, in the Sahel region with the solar resources we have, in East Africa with all the resources we have. Kenya has already 93% of our grid being renewable energy. And therefore, there is confirmation of the huge potential of that energy. Thank you for your contribution on matters peace, the JIDA process, which IGAD, under our chair, the President of Djibouti, is engaged in, we believe will unlock the challenges in Sudan, and your participation in this region will also give us the opportunity to also deal with the challenges that are going on between Israel and Palestine. We believe that terrorism cannot be an answer to any conflict. Neither is occupation. We believe that Palestine should be a free state, and we stand for a two-nation solution as a means of resolving the conflict in that region. And thank you very much for your participation in convening this meeting. I think already Saudi Arabia is doing a lot in assisting in the finance of our continent. They support the World Bank, they support the IMF. I think that support can also go to African Development Bank, Trade Development Bank, AFC, East African Development Bank, and all the other institutions that support African growth. My request to the Saudi friends is to support these African institutions so that they can support our own economies. And with what we have done in our continent, consolidating the African market of 1.3 billion people into one market under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we should be able to unlock the tremendous potential that exists. And therefore, this meeting becomes significant in that it not only addresses the present, but it also gives us opportunity to unlock the potential of the future. And therefore, this meeting is timely, and congratulations for convening so that we can unlock the tremendous potential that exists between our partnership.